Welcome back, everyone, to Living Your Greatness. And I am joined today by a new guest, and his name is Clem Chambers. So, Clem, welcome to the show. Pleasure to have you here today.
Great to be on, Ben. Great to be on. Nice to meet you.
Great to see you. And I also want to say Happy New Year. It's been quite a year in the financial markets, especially for gold and silver from last year. So I actually want to start off, Clem. A lot of people aren't familiar with you on my channel. And I'm curious to know, just to kick off, what are you really scared about right now in the financial world that you think more people need to be financially educated about?
Well, I don't do scared. I mean, that is, you shouldn't be in the markets if you're scared, because the markets have no fear, have no remorse, do not stop. And, you've got to go in there with a clear mind. And like I say to people when they say, should I buy? And I say, stop there. If you ask me a question about buying or selling, the answer is no. Yeah. You should always know. And if you have to ask, you shouldn't do it. Yeah. So, over time, you've got to get it into a position where you're not worried about your positions. So for the novice, you just start small. You find a place where you can play the market, as they used to say when I was a child, play the market as small as possible. And I think someone like Robinhood in the US, you can buy $1 of a share, or a fractional share, and you can build up a portfolio for amounts that amount to a Starbucks. And you should start there, because it's about percentages, not numbers, and getting used to the scale. I mean, a lot of people are intimidated because they go, oh, I've got to buy $1,000 of this thing. That's a lot of money. Well, of course, it's not a lot. It is. It isn't. It is. It isn't. It is. Yeah, because you're playing to make much bigger sums than that. So, before you know it, if you're having a good run or a bull market, you're dealing with threes and fours, and that can make you nervous and make you worried and make you hesitant. But after a time, you get used to it, and then it's 10s and 20s and so on and so forth. But you can't afford to do it at all if you're going to get scared. Because if you get scared, you're going to sell at the bottom and you're going to buy at the top. And so many people do that. They get excited because it's gone up, so they buy. It goes down, they go, oh, there's some money. No, I want to sell. Well, that's it. You do that all day long, you're going to lose all your money, aren't you? You've got to be buying because you don't care that the thing's gone down a long way or hasn't gone up. Or everyone's saying, well, what do you want to buy that for? Buy NVIDIA like everybody else. Yeah, and you go, no, I want this obscure company that cuts down trees in Ottawa. I like it. I looked at it. I thought that was really good. No, I don't care. I'm going to buy some. And when it goes down, you don't go, oh, no, I've lost money. I've got to get out. You go, oh, and that sort of thing happens. The year goes by and still nothing. And then suddenly, it comes good. Or you decided that you don't want it anymore or whatever. But if you could be calm, then you will do very well. If you get excited, that you will pay for that. And normally, you see, the market pays you in what you want to be paid in. If it's status, it'll pay you in status because you've got high status. If it's excitement, you buy exciting stocks and they'll pay you in excitement. They'll pay you in cash. If you want, whatever it is that you want, it will charge you for that. If you just want to be paid in money, you'll be buying a certain kind of stock and you get paid in money. And that's the best way to go. So many people do it because it's kind of, genteel gambling. I mean, I go to my club and they say, I bought some of this really crazy stock that does oil in Antarctica and I'm so clever. I'm not a gambler. If I said I just put £10,000 on a horse, you think I was degenerate. But no, I'm sophisticated. I put $10,000 in an oily penguin in Antarctica. You won't do well being like that.
I love that you bring that up because behavior economics is huge, especially when it comes to investing. As humans, we are very emotional, which when it's not the investing world can be really beautiful, connected to our heart, connected to our emotions. But when it comes to investing, it's very different.
I would say this, if you invested on emotions, based on your own emotion, based on you doing your research with the numbers, rather than people going, oh, ha, 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 ha. If you're based on emotions, based on influences of other people, then you're in trouble. If you invest on the basis of your emotions, based on facts, you'll probably do all right, actually. At worst, you'll do 50-50. So if the market goes up on average 7%, you'll do 7%. Because the market is very random. The dangerous bit is when somebody says, oh, you really want to buy this. Well, why is that then? Well, because I really want to sell it to you. Yes, have some on mine. Let me do you a favor. You give me your cash. Who needs that? And you take my dodgy stock. Yeah, that's it. This is the way it's going to be. That's what gets people in trouble. Other people trying to sell what they own to you, or for you to buy it, so some magically way it goes up. Share promotion. It's old as the hills, right? Goes back. I mean, Paul Mark Twain lost most of his money because of that. And that, hundreds of years ago, it's a classic. Absolutely take nobody's advice, not even mine. Particularly mine. No, not even mine. As I say on my YouTube channel, my stuff is just raw material for your own thought processes. Yeah. If you have to ask, it's no. So you go, that crazy guy, he just said this is going to happen. Can that be right? Can that be wrong? I said, why? Oh, that's a good idea. I like that idea. Let me think about that idea. No, I've discounted it. I've come up with my own. That's the way that you do well in the markets. But listening to somebody tell you what's good and what's bad, that way, definite losses are.
I love that you mentioned that, because that also makes me hear the word emotional intelligence. So something that I want to ask based off what you just said there is, how can we have a better circle of competence as an investor so we think for ourselves and we make the best decisions for ourselves?
Okay, the market is a skill game, right? So it's a skill game. It requires study and practice. That's it. Study, practice, experience. And it's like people go into the market and they go, right, I'm going to blah, 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 blah. I'm going to trade. You go to Wall Street, see those big dark buildings and black windows with hundreds of PhDs in maths sat behind them going, crush numbers. It's like saying, I'm going to play tennis for money against Roger Federer. You're not going to, are you? It's just not going to be a thing. Yeah. So don't think like that. Think like, well, who makes money in a really, really, really boring way and makes a load of money in a really, really boring way? Warren Buffett. I think we can be sure that that's the case. After he's done it for so many decades, he couldn't be making it up. And do you know what? You can actually see what shares he owns. It's actually in public disclosure, all of them. So you could go onto Robinhood and buy $10 of every single share that Warren Buffett believes is brilliant. So the richest man in the world, dear enough, or was at one stage, who made all his money on investing in stocks, you can see what's in his wallet. You can just copy it. Does anybody do that? No. Well, I'm sure there's a few hundred people in the world. But so, it's actually way, 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 way simpler than people have you believe. And when they start doing the magic tricks, all this and all that, complicated this and complicated that, I'd be very wary.
How can you then explain how we can simplify our decision-making when it comes to investing?
Well, the best thing, a novice should really just put dollar cost average, which actually about 5 years ago, if you Googled dollar cost average, my name would pop up. Yeah, I don't know why, but it did. It used to pop up. I was the king of dollar cost averaging, apparently, called Mr. Brin. It's got to be true, right? But anyway, so let's just say novice. He wants to get into the stock market. Okay, so I say, set up a monthly direct debit, or whatever the American equivalent is, to the cheapest broker you can find. I mean, they're all the same in the US, but let's say Robinhood. I don't get a referral. Maybe I should. And just set up your $20 a month or $200 a month, or whatever you want to do. Pop it in there, and then pop in once a month and put it into the S&P 500 tracker, QQQ, SPY, whatever it is, whatever you fancy, DJI, whatever the big index. Doesn't make a great deal of difference. Yeah. Let's say S&P 500, that is the fundamental base case thing. Just stick it in. Then, and every month, go and put it in. At the end of the year, you got $2,000. Well, probably been going the last few years. You've probably got 2,200. But anyway, just keep doing that. Just keep reading the newspapers. Just keep you're trolling around. Be as skeptical as you possibly can, And when you see something that makes you go, oh, go into your brokerage account, snap a bit off, snap 25% of it off and put it in that big cap stock. If it's something that does sponges for cleaning cars and it's pink sheet, forget it. Anything that's under $1 billion, actually in America, that's too small even in America. 5 billion, 10 billion, under 10 billion. It's got to be over 10 billion. Snap it off. It's got a market cap of over 10 billion. Buy a chunk. Yeah. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Oh, another one. I saw it does spaghetti, and spaghetti's going to be big. It's the next big thing after AI, spaghetti, right? So you go in there, break whatever, same amount of money as the first one, buy another one. Keep doing that. Keep doing that for 5 years and you'll have probably 15 stocks, right? And you're watching them all doing their thing, getting a feel for it. And you'll probably be getting reasonably good at that stage. You'll be making good money. You'll be going, oh, I've made all this money. Oh, don't tell the wife she'll buy a kitchen. And just keep doing that. And then 10 years later, you'll have made a load of money, or what would have been a load of money for you 10 years beforehand.
I love that you talked about dollar cost averaging and also explaining even like the practice of the time, right? Like the time of adding to your positions and making sure, obviously, that even before you make any decision, that you have conviction, right? Conviction in what you're investing in. And I find that's important because something that we're buying or that we're investing in is on discount. And sometimes it's hated or sometimes it's just undervalued, which are always buying opportunities to add to your position and dollar cost down. So I appreciate you explaining that and also showing that, yeah, if you look at the long-term view, like 5 years, you'll then really see the percentage gain compound over time.
And so quickly. I mean, I know I'm an old bogey, but it just goes so fast. And the sooner you start, the better. But going back away, when it comes to stock selection, if you think it's a good stock, it isn't. If you know it's a good stock, it is. Now, that doesn't make any sense until I tell a little bit more of the story. This is 25 years ago, and treasure hunting probably will be one of my hobbies. And I got together with this treasure hunter, and we went to Scotland to pan for gold, which is, I don't know what that's like. It's like going to the Sahara Desert to go skiing. But anyway, there is a little bit of gold. So I'm up the Duke of Buccleuch's land. I'm in a river. I'm up to here in cold water, panning away. And I go, oh, I think I got some. And he comes over and he says, if you think it's gold, it isn't. If you know it's gold, it is. And I thought, what does that mean? Anyway, I did it for another 3 hours and I got a nugget. And I looked at it and went, wow, it's gold. It's not a piece of mica. I know that's gold. And that feeling I know is something that if you get it with a stock, yeah, buy something. Not a lot, just a unit. And you need over, say, 10 years to build up 30 units. And then you'll be safe from making mistakes. You'll be safe as houses. And when the thing that you thought was a good idea, you got 4 of them, it was doing that. The thing you got 4 of that you thought was good and then nothing happened, will suddenly start doing that. And it all even out. And diversification is just so incredibly important. You have to be diversified if you want to actually survive. And once you're diversified, you will survive, you'll do well. If you're not diversified, there will be a Mars attack and it will set you back so far, you'll want to give up. And by not being diversified, you'll have these incredible swings. I'm a genius. I'm an idiot. I'm a genius. I'm an idiot. I'm a genius. That's what happens when you're not diversified. Diversification is incredibly important. So you start out small, you build up a width in your portfolio, you buy and sell slowly. Well, that's done all right. Oh, yeah, sell that. Oh, I'll buy that. Just slow pacing it out. And then it will build up. At a certain stage, you'll be moving in a size that will make you nervous. And then you have to keep doing it until you kind of burn your nerve endings off. I've been through that loop several times. And slowly but surely, look, if you want to get rich quick, you're going to get poor fast. That's the rule. And if you go slow, you'll do extremely well. It's the only way outside of winning the lottery or being in a startup and accidentally doing something amazing, or another kind of lottery ticket effectively. It's the only way a normal person, without winning one lottery or another, can actually build up wealth. it's the key one. The only other one is over time is real estate. But real estate and equities are the two paths from nothing to something that most people take to actually become properly wealthy.
Why do you own gold?
I own gold because we're part of a diversification strategy, actually. Initially, I haven't touched gold ever since I started. I didn't touch gold. And then COVID came along and I thought, they're going to print money. There's going to be inflation coming out of everyone's ears. And all the Nobel Prize winners said, oh no, there's going to be deflation. And I thought, hold on a minute, what drugs are these people on? No one's doing any work and they're printing money. That's going to make inflation. That's kind of like the definition of how you make inflation. And because of that, I better book the book of basic investing, page 2. Oh, with inflation, buy gold. But I thought, yeah, I better start that. So I had just a lot of gold. I was up to my ears in gold, serious quantities of it. And the blooming thing didn't move. I said, what's going on here? What? And you can also notice that there was a kind of disconnection between the miners and gold as well. You've got gold miners not correlating with gold. So I thought, oh, hold on a minute. Yeah, okay. If you don't get it, one of the rules of investing is you're not that bright. Just keep reminding yourself, you're not that smart. And so it's not doing what it should do, so I don't want it. What's to be wrong? But anyway, I thought, I'm going to watch this because at some point, something's going to happen here. And it's one of the great assets. So I decided that I was just going to DCA. So DCA and DCA and DCA and DCA. And I can DCA at quite a good clip. And just building it up, just having some fun. Because I don't know about you, but I just like to watch numbers go up, right? Hey, I've got this. I've got another pound of silver. Oh, I've got another. I've got a brick of that now. So I was doing that, watching it, and the charts just started to say, I'm going to go mad now. I thought, what the hell's going on here? And I wrote about it in full. You can actually read all this stuff when I wrote it before it happened. As I said to you earlier, it's much easier to predict the past than the future. And I've got a pretty good record of predicting the future, not the past. But I didn't know why. Literally, I was looking and saying, why is that? Why this is happening? Why? God, I didn't get it. Because think about it. All right, they don't make teeth anymore out of gold. There's electronics and there's investment and there's shiny stuff. We like gold. But why did governments keep buildings of it? They got huge buildings of huge value of gold. Why? And then it dawned on me, and this is only about 4 years ago. I thought, good grief. Governments keep gold because gold is for war. It's a strategic currency. They won't take paper if you're in a war. Well, they will until you start losing, and then they won't. Yeah. If you want to buy a tank or you want to buy a tungsten, you got to pay in gold. Yeah. And you stick it on a U-boat, as the Germans used to do, or a battleship like the British used to do, sail it to the Americans, because that's where it all ended up last time around. And they send you stuff. Yeah. Because it's the currency, because I tell this story because I find it hilarious. The Germans were buying tungsten off the Portuguese in the Second World War. Portuguese were fascists. And the Portuguese would say, yeah, sure, yeah, we'll send you our tungsten. What are you going to pay in? And the Germans said, we've got all these British fivers that we captured. You can have them. It's as good as gold, British money, for now anyway. So we're going to pay you in fivers. So they paid them in British £5 notes. And then the Portuguese worked out the Germans were printing. And they'd be buying this tungsten with forged British £5. So the Portuguese, they went, excuse me, Adolf, you're paying in gold now. Yeah. And that is just an extreme case of why you don't take paper in war. Yeah. Gold's for war. Now, you can't suddenly decide that there's going to be a war tomorrow and therefore you better go out and buy gold. You've got to go, things have got a bit more tense this year. I think we need to put a bit more gold in the warehouse. Oh, look, that guy over there did that. Oh, he's built a new missile. And you would increase your holding of gold as a country as tension increases. And you can see that. Polish have been laying it in like nobody's business. Oh, surprise, surprise. Chinese have been laying it in. Well, the conflict ongoing between America and China is continuing to heat up, right? So this increase in global tension is what's driving the gold price. And it dawned on me that's what's doing it. And then I went, how long is this going to go on for? Well, at least to, when's the next American election? Yeah. So it's going on and on and on. And of course, funny enough, China's buying and laying it in because gold is for war. And America and China are at logheads. And they're fighting over AI now. And they're fighting over trade now. But obviously, it's not very difficult for that to start going downhill. And Taiwan's coming up soon. So that's what's driving gold. It's the ever-increasing ratchet of global stress. Well, everything followed from that. Everything follows from that. The silver is the fast horse that follows gold because gold is for governments. When you go down to a precious metal shop or a coin shop that sells tokens, rounds, as the Americans call it, and you go and say, I'll have I'll have $50 of, or 60, call it $70 of precious metal, please. Ooh, is that gold, is it? Ooh, blooming great coin in silver. So, from the retailer, for the retail market, silver is a big draw. So gold is for governments, it's a B2G, business to government. And silver is a B2C, business to consumer. So when gold goes and everyone says, gold, watch that, I don't get much for my money, I'll have the silver bit. And that's what's been going on. It's the fast horse, it's the volatile one of the two. And that's what's driving the silver price. But the gold price is purely being driven by the ever-increasing ratchet of global tension, which hopefully at some point will stop getting more tense and then gold will stop going up. And if everyone has a hug-a-thon and peace breaks out, I can't see it happening, can you? But if it did, gold goes through the floor. Well, that guy's in the White House now, is it? Not going to happen.
I appreciate that explanation on why you own gold. We've seen such a transformative shift even in the last 5 years. Central banks used to manipulate a lot more gold, and now we've seen in the last 2 to 3 years them buying and hoarding a tremendous amount of gold.
They're stacking it because gold is for war. That's who stacks it for you. You ring them up and said, well, it's getting a bit spicy out there. Do you know Taiwan, 2017, she says it's going to be the date, 2017, 2027. See, that shows you how old I am. And she said 2027, it's going to kick off in Taiwan. So that's going to be pretty spicy. I think we need some more of the shiny, please. And central bank goes, yeah, sure. Get some of that in. Print some confetti. Hey, send the shiny over this way, will you? So, it's not because the central banks want it. They don't care. They control money. They are money. It's what they do. It's because they're told to. Go get some of that. So they go get it and do what they're told. It's their job to do what they're told. They're the great masters of money, and they control every aspect of money, and they're pretty blooming good at it, really good at it. And they do. I mean, look at America and goes, the Fed, it's printing money, it's inflating. Oh no. What about your politician? Wait, I tell you sound Canadian to me, but what about American politicians digging the biggest debt hole that you could possibly imagine? Who's keeping that on the rails? Well, it's the Fed's keeping that on the rails. How can you possibly keep those twin deficits afloat for all those years? Well, you've got the master of money pulling the right levers at the right time and pressing the right buttons when necessary, keeping the train on the tracks. The people that are trying to throw the train off the tracks by being stupid are the politicians. The people keeping the train on the tracks and doing a blooming good job when you think about how ridiculous the situation is from the politician are the central banks. They're keeping the ship on from sinking, or the train on the tracks, or what other metaphor you want to use, the plane afloat. And without them, it would all be over.
So if gold is for war and silver is now becoming this fast horse, could you walk us through all of the catalysts that you see that make silver so attractive at this point in time?
Well, the big attractiveness of it is that huge juggernaut that is retail. I mean, okay, there's a very, very interesting number, and I keep checking it, and I can't believe it myself. And there's a lot of these numbers in precious metals that make you go, oh. So one of them is gold, 3,200 tons a year. Okay, that's actually about a 1% inflation of the gold supply every year. So gold is inflationary. They do print more of it, funny. That's what gold miners do, print gold. But Silver, and this just does my head in, 25,000 tons. Well, last time I looked at it, it's about 8-1. Yeah. Well, 8-1, gold price is not 8-1. 8-1, that would make gold like $500 an ounce. And that ain't never going to happen. But if you look at those ratios, you can see that there's room, there's room for maneuver there. And I mean, you could say, well, just gold is way too expensive. But I don't think it is. I think gold's got plenty of room to run. And that ratio on its own is enough to make you go, mm. Now, the thing about gold is there's not much of a free flow. I mean, a lot of it, I think at least 40% of it is actually in vaults, belonging to governments, going nowhere. Okay. And the rest of it is kind of not very liquid. Yeah. Liquid gold, i.e. gold that you can buy and sell and push around tomorrow within the next 5 days. It's not a lot of that. Unlike, say, Microsoft, where there's a big flow of Microsoft shares that can be bought and sold actually physical tomorrow. So that gives gold quite a strong ability to move. Silver is the same thing, the free flow of silver, which is what all these thing about, this market, CME is running out and all that good stuff is all about. That's the free flow. There's a lot of silver out there. There's a lot of silver out there. And I know because I keep wanting to buy lots of it as things like tea services and knives and forks and stuff like that. Because you can buy beautiful, regal knives and fork dining room sets or forks and knives at the cost of the silver. And tea, silver trays for carrying the tea. And the butler brings them in, tea, sir, Clem. So yeah, put it down there, Jeeves. Those things, 100 ounces of silver in a tray at Mel. But of course, obviously you can't really secure it. You put it in your house and some guy comes through the window and takes it away. So you don't really actually, that's the trouble with that. That's why I don't do it. But I do watch it. And there's a lot of it out there. There's a lot of silver out there. But doesn't mean it won't move. And it is moving and has moved. And it spent years not moving. And now it's on its way. It's having its moment. And commodities have their moment. And they go up like a rocket and down like a rock. And I'm expecting silver and gold, platinum and palladium to have a big run, boom, bubble, bust. And I think we're in the late stages of a boom, still in a boom for gold, edge of a bubble for silver, loads and loads of room for platinum and palladium. And then once it's all over, run its course, which I think will be this year, for that moment of crazy insanity. And then it will go back to the right, it will reprice to the correct price. But then after that, it'll be copper. And copper is going to be very, 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 very exciting and very interesting.
Why is copper going to be really exciting?
Don't make enough of it. Well, you don't make anywhere near enough of it. No. It's going to be, you're going to be going, Okay, right. So what's the real big thing? I don't think China and America are going to go to war and kill us all. I don't think that's going to happen. There's two forces at work right now that are going to change the world. Okay. Well, only one force that's going to change the world, but there's another force which could change it, which I think we're going to be safe from. And that's AI and NS. Now, this is where you ask me what NS is.
What is it?
NS is natural stupidity, and there's absolutely no shortage of that. And you're seeing a lot of it at the moment, and that could get very nasty. And then there's AI going that away, and one of them is going to win in the next 10 years, and I think it's going to be AI. But AI is basically, it's like inventing the steam engine on steroids. Yeah. Steam engine, artificial muscle, live to 45, have 10 children, 8 die before they're 5. That's the world before the steam engine. And now, post steam engine, live to 82, have 1 3/4 children, keep 1 3/4 children, and live in a world of even the King of England would have thought was amazing, and a higher standard of living than the King of England, say 100 years ago or 150 years ago. So AI, that's not artificial muscle, that's artificial brain. That's just going to do amazing things. That's going to be exponential from where we are today. but it's only just kicked off. And you've got these NS running rampant around the world. In every corner you go, there are people slaughtering each other at the moment, and at an ever increasing tempo, it would feel. And they're running that away to a terrible place. And AI, I believe, it will be the counteraction to that. But AI is energy. Literally, you put energy into a building full of commodity, and out a little glass fiber comes your intelligence. So huge mass of commodities come in one end, and out the other end comes out a load of digital, ephemeral data. Yeah. But that data is what is artificial intelligence. And that is what is so powerful. It's having the right answer to a difficult question can unlock all sorts of incredible things. Massive increases in productivity, for example. Anyway, that is where we are. And the amount of money that's going to get put into building this out, it's already astronomical. It's already at 1.5 trillion. Was it 10 trillion? I've lost track of the trillions that is going to go into AI in America and China. And it's going to boil the ocean, because apart from when you use up all the copper and all the stuff to build all these computers, it's energy in, AI out. And the machine in the middle goes whir and makes a lot of heat. Yeah. So energy in, well, what's that going to do? A, to commodities, and B, to energy. It's going to absolutely slingshot it. And one of the backbones to AI is copper, because you can't build transformers. I mean, there's not enough electricity. That's the thing you have to hold out. Electricity, there's just not enough of it. And they're going to have to wire it in. And they're building nuclear power stations now. I mean, a year ago, nuclear power station was like saying Beelzebub. It's like the great Satan was nuclear power. And no politician would say nuclear power. Yes, we need more of it. Okay. No, we hate that stuff. No. It will kill your children. It's bad. No. And now it's, we're going to build nuclear power stations. Nuclear power is good. Yes, nuclear power. That's what we all need. Yes. Say yes to nuclear power. Why is that? Well, that's because that's the only way to power AI is through nuclear power and everything else that they can burn. And if you come second in AI, you're toast. Absolute toast. China comes first in AI. That's it for America. Bye. There's no second place in AI. There's no natural limit to how much of it you want. So there's no limit to how many commodities you're going to use, how much energy you're going to burn. There's massive implications for the environment as well, of course. That's where your platinum and palladium comes in. So that dynamic, if you believe that AI is the thing, that's the logical conclusion to that. If you don't believe it's a thing, if you think it's a load of old cobblers, and that it's a load of old rubbish and it hallucinates, oh no, it can't do maths, oh no, then if that's true, that's what happened. But you know what I see AI do, it just blows my mind. And when that actually, I mean, there's two things. There's one really, 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 really brilliant piece of good news. That is, and I'm seeing it already, and I thought it would be 10 years before I saw it. And that is, there's going to be this massive cohort of young people who have educated themselves with AI into whatever they're interested in. I mean, it might be Pokemon cards, but it could be physics. It could be environmental studies. It could be whatever they get interested in. As a kid, I was interested in all sorts of crazy stuff, electronics and all that stuff, computers and stuff. It's going to produce this cohort of 10 to 20% of the young people who are going to look like geniuses to us. It's going to be this tidal wave of brilliant children appearing out of nowhere because of AI. Because AI can take you to a PhD level in a couple of years. If you're interested in the subject, it's probably a year, actually. If you're a young kid with a nice, flexible brain that can learn fast, like we can't. I mean, if he wants to be a world expert in, I don't know, whatever, falcons, I don't know, plastic, anything, you name it, anything at all, you name it. And he's 9, and he's with his AI learning about stick insects. He's going to be at PhD level within a year or two. And that's going to be this huge wave coming through. And that's going to be massively good news for everybody. Massive. They won't put up with natural stupidity.
I appreciate you giving that explanation. And when I think about AI and its relationship with commodities, I think that's definitely something that's part of our future. It's definitely bound to happen. But what are all the other factors why you're so bullish on commodities and it being a mega cycle?
Well, because, I mean, okay, I I think I said earlier, one of my hobbies is treasure hunting. So you go out in a field in Europe. It's a big empty field, nothing in it. Okay, had a crop, cut it down, proud it up, and there you got your permission. There you are, walking up and down it, looking weird. And you find buttons and buckles and thimbles and spoons and forks and money. You go, what's that doing here? Well, it used to be houses. Used to be farmers lived here. 95% of the population lived on the land and were farming. And then along came the steam engine. They all went to the city and all got rich and all got healthy and all lived twice as long. Yeah, because of technology. And this technology blows away the steam engine. As I say, artificial muscle. It's artificial brain. I mean, the difference between us and a chimp or some little gibbon with no brain is this. This is why we're here where we are right now. It's because this thing here makes everything that we rely on as humans. Well, you start blowing that up and doubling that capacity, increasing that productivity. Everything as we know it goes off the dart. Those guys that were living in those little cottages, which would probably sell for a lot of money in them these days if they hadn't ploughed them in, well, they lived to 47. They died like flies. They had no idea. Couldn't read. They couldn't write. Television, international travel, medicine, surgery, safe childbirth, all that stuff. Yogurt, refrigeration, underfloor heating. They had nothing like that at all. And then somebody came up, worked out how they could make steam in loop stuff, and the world changed. And now here we are. And, talking across the world at the speed of light, all because of that one breakthrough. And they just had another one. It's not artificial muscle, it's artificial brain. And all right, then you can make some science fiction. I'm going to get a virus and become an artificial intelligence and I'm going to kill you all. All that stuff. Yeah, that's right. But it's not going to happen, is it? It's not going to happen. There's going to be this cohort of brilliant children going to come along. Not going to put up with all this messing about. And we're going to move into a different era. And it's going to boil the oceans because it's all about energy. Energy equals AI. And they're just going to run for economic hell for leather. There's going to be massive economic expansion over the next 10 years. Massive, absolutely massive. It will spin your head and it's going to consume raw materials like they've never been consumed before. You already see these server farms that are the size of New York. They're just going to be building these huge factories of intelligence. That's what they are. Intelligence factories. Well, how could you be bearish? All right, it's going to be inflationary. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's going to be exciting if you want to be excited by it, or terrifying if you're that sort of person. Yeah, it's going to move really fast. I mean, but I got into AI 2.5 years ago to start a business. It moved so fast, I got straight back out. I can't keep up with this. And I've pioneered all sorts of technology. I was one of the first people to do a computer game company when I was a child. I did multimedia. I did massively multiplayer games. I put massively in the blooming phrase. I was one of the internet pioneers. I've got a history that makes me look like I'm 6 people. And this thing moves so quickly. I went, I thought, the fuck? This is going at light speed. So I thought maybe I'm a bit too old for that. But it is going to be absolutely massive. If you could pick out the winners in AI, you will make generational wealth in the same way as the people that picked out the winners of the dot-com boom, if they stuck with it, made generational wealth. The people that picked out crypto when it started made generational wealth if they stuck around long enough. Yeah. And this is another one of them. I mean, these cycles, they repeat. And you don't listen to anybody, just find the winners that are going to be around in 20 years' time and be the $100 trillion company. Because remember, when I was a kid, you could open the Wall Street Journal, well, it's actually the full Financial Times, and it would be, ancient Clem person does a £750,000 deal. That was newsworthy when I was about 5. And then a few years went by, and that person did a £7.5 million deal. And that was a big deal when I was 15. And then it was £75 million deal, £750 million deal, £7 billion deal, 75 billion. Now we're in the trillions, aren't we? Now the headlines are $1 trillion, says Dr. Evil. Yeah. So we've gone from hundreds of thousands to trillions in my lifetime. So, scale that up. So there's a massive opportunity, but you've got to be very, very thoughtful about it. You've got to bide your time. You've got to do your homework. You've got to do your research. You've got to know what the subject is. You haven't got to be, yes, I have some equities to sell you. AI. It's AI poop. AI poop is the next big thing. No, you just got to sit there and watch things go by. Be like the crocodile on the mud flat. To sit there, wait for the drowned wildebeest to go by, and then die. Yeah, because it is here. It is here now, and there's no rush. You just got to watch it happen, work out your ideas, slowly build, and it's a fabulous opportunity.
I appreciate that explanation. And the question I want to ask you that I'm curious about is, what is this FOMO?
FOMO is like the fox in a hen house, running around, killing all the chickens and not getting to keep any of them.
Can you talk about the crocodile and why this is for more investors?
FOMO. Oh, no. Oh, dear. I mean, lots of people that I've known over the years who are just completely FOMO'd. It's just like, the only way to trade FOMO is when you see it, knowing that it is FOMO, getting there before the FOMO kicks off. When the FOMO kicks off, you jump out. When you see people queuing up in the street to buy, I don't know, silver coins, that's when you sell. When you see it on the most stupid news that you can find on television, the most stupid format, terrestrial television, when it's on the headlines, the third thing in, and today silver hit $200, sell immediately. Yeah. FOMO is a sign to sell. Not immediately, but it's a phase, and you get out when that phase is well underway. The crocodile, he lies there, just waits for the perfect opportunity, and then goes into action as little as possible, grabs his lunch, and then goes back on the mud flat and lies there and waits for the next one. Yeah, and that's the best way. That is investing. Trading, I mean, I used to do that until I didn't have a stomach lining. And I wrote some financial thrillers about 10 years ago about trading and all the fun that can be had there. And the main character does nothing but eat stomach settlers, Tums. That's his lunch and dinner. Yeah. And because that's what that sort of behavior will give you is peptic ulcers. If you invest, you should be able to get it to a stage where you just don't care. You just don't care. Oh, I've lost £200,000 today. Oh, I've made £300,000 a day. I mean, I'll tell you a story. Look, I used to trade a lot, and I made good money. I was very good at it, actually. Very, very good at it, because I made money at all. That says you were very good. But I'd keep my hand in. I used to trade small. Yeah, I used to have a small trading account. I'd do a trade too. And if I lost $200 on a trade, that would bug me more than if I lost $20,000 that day in rando position. That $200, tens of thousands don't care, because there's a completely different way of doing things. Yeah. Investment, some days you win, some days you lose. I mean, look at silver last few days. If you're trading that, you'd be in the psychiatric ward. But if you just got some because you think it's going to go higher, you don't care, then, that's much sounder way of doing it. And you wake up in the morning and go, yeah, I've had enough. You're not caring, are you? The moment you're caring about how much you've made and lost and what you're trying to get to, that's not going to, it's not going to be good. It's going to make you behave randomly, and behaving randomly is not the way to go on this. I mean, my father was a big commodity trader in the 70s. And I said to him, so how do you do this? He said, you buy it when it's cheap. Mind you, I was only 10, but he's just how it's explained to me. You buy it when it's cheap. And then it goes up a lot. And when it goes up a lot, it thrashes around, but you don't care because you made a lot of money. and it's all noise up there, and you just sell when you've had enough. Okay, sounds simple, and it is.
What commodity do you find is cheap right now?
Oh, well, I think copper's okay. Gold, silver, spicy. It's not at the bottom. It's probably not at the top. It's in the sort of last third. Could be last half. I'm never very good at getting out of the top. I tend to get out kind of halfway, maybe if I'm lucky, 3/4 the way out. Okay, and it's in that sort of point where I could go, yeah, well, I've made X's here. I can leave. There's another bus coming. There's always another bus coming. There's always another bus coming.
What does that mean? Another bus coming?
Well, don't Canada have buses?
We do.
Yeah, you know how you stand at the you've got to catch the bus. You run for the bus stop, and the bus is there, and you're running. The bus stalls go, sheesh, it's gone. You didn't make it, but there's another bus coming. Don't forget that bus. It's not life or death. It's another bus coming. You just inconvenienced a bit. You just wait. Another bus comes. You get on it. You get to where you need to go. And this time it's not called gold or silver. It's called copper, or it's called, I don't know, aluminium. Probably not. Or it's oil, or it's something you hadn't even thought of. I mean, I was absolutely kicking myself. Absolutely kicking myself. Middle of the year, I've built a spin out. We're building some factories in India, and we're building two actually. But anyway, building factories in rare earth in India. Okay, wonderful stuff. And I'm a stock market guru, right? Okay, so and I know all the companies. And I know people at all the companies in rare earth and Britain. I know them all. They know me. And then I look at the share prices. They've all gone up 4 times. And I completely missed it. I was too busy doing something else. So it's like my own field times 2, and I completely missed that bus. Completely missed it. Yeah, and I did it again on another one. I'm not in quantum computing, but I do know a little bit about it. And Google came out and they said, "Oh, quantum computing, we function but work." Oh, and I thought, "Oh, well done. I did think enough of it." And I looked at it after I'd looked at this rare earth and slapped myself on the forehead. And quantum computing had done exactly the same thing. Google has spoke, and then over the next 2 months, they all went up tenfold. And it would be a no-brainer for me to have gone in and, I don't know, kick some money in and 10x that. I just completely missed it. But I don't cry about that because there's another bus coming. And this time I'll pay a bit more attention. Next time I see, I don't know, Zuckerberg has invented anti-gravity, I'll go and buy a few anti-gravity companies. I won't go, I'm not so bright today, I'll miss that one. But there's always another bus coming because Amazon will and Elon Musk will invent some solution to world poverty, and there all the other ones to do that. So, in fact, I wrote an article about that on Seeking Alpha of all the ones that could happen next. So in fact, I've forgotten what they are now, so I'll miss them. But there's always another bus coming. If you've made 3x, and it could be 6x if you hold on, or maybe it could be 0, you take your 3x, you wait for the next bus. You go back on your mud flat as the crocodile and wait for the next buffalo to go by. Because there will be another one. It's guaranteed. It's a matter of time. In the current market, it's every 3 months. It used to be every 6 or 9 months, but it's kind of an increasing pace here. But anyway, that's what I mean by there's always another bus coming. There's always another bus coming. It doesn't mean you shouldn't run for a bus, but, don't be too sad if it's got away. Don't keep running after it when it's gone up the road.
So right now, if on the bus for gold and silver and a couple other commodities that you mentioned, if we're halfway there on our journey on this bus, what about people that are already on the bus? If we're halfway there, is it still a good time for them?
I mean, set your alarm if you're going to go to sleep. Siri, wake me up in 10 minutes. You're probably going to know. And, that's, don't be on the bus too long. I mean, I'm not going to write a book called How to Invest by Getting on the Bus. But, there's many ways to get out. Okay. One way is you go, oh, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. What's the gold price? Get out. If you're waking up at 3 a.m. to watch the price, get out. Now, when I say get out, get back to that in a minute. You don't have to do that. So anyway, that's one way. Yeah. The other way is, well, there's another bus coming. I've made my profit. That's fine by me. Don't care anymore. Go. I mean, it's not like winning the World Cup. It's just a profit. It's just an asset. You didn't marry it. It's a lump. It don't care about you. It's assets are for selling and buying and selling and buying and selling. Don't be emotionally attached to it. Doesn't matter. All right, gold is shiny, and I've seen people burst into sort of sweat just by holding a lump of gold. So there is a biological function in gold that makes people make irrational decisions. But, you've had enough. Sell. It's another bus coming. Now, the other thing, I'm not saying you should sell gold or silver now, but I'm saying this is the thought process. Yeah. Another bus coming. I've had enough. Goodbye. Oh, I'm waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning. What's the price? Sell. Okay. You don't have to sell it all. Oh, I've got a big profit. What should I do? Well, sell some. Oh, some. Yeah, just some. Just a little bit. Just top slice it. Take some profit. Some profit. I need to put all my money in. I'll take it all out. No, you don't. Just sell some. Sell 20%. Then when you sell 20%, how do you feel? Oh, I feel better. Well, are you comfortable now? Yeah, I'm comfortable now. Okay, then. No, I'm not comfortable now. I'm happy I've sold some. We'll sell some more then. Yeah? It's like, just relax. Oh, I think I should maybe think about selling. No, I think about selling now. I'm not sure I should. Or some bit now. It's people get too excited about this stuff. I've got a big profit. Is it worrying you? Yes. Well, take some then. Took some. Oh, but I might miss more profit. Well, there's another bus coming. If you don't sell, you can ride it all the way back down again. And people do that over and over and over again and regret the money they didn't make. Yeah. That's ridiculous. The other one that always makes me laugh, they buy it at 10, goes to 100, goes back to 10. They say, oh, I lost that 90. No, you didn't. You were never going to sell. Yeah. You make what you make, you lose what you lose. So if you buy 100, it goes to 10. Yeah, you lost 90. But if you buy at 10 and it goes to 100 and it comes back down to 20, you didn't lose 80, you made 10. Yeah. And greed is not a good thing to have. If you're a greedy person, it's not a good thing to be in the markets because greed will get you every time. You can make a lot of money. You can make a lot of greedy money. You can hit like a dragon, but you better not be greedy while you're doing it.
Moving from this financial world, sometimes people get greedy, as you mentioned. Sometimes people get over fixated on financial wealth. If we were to strip away all your financial wealth, Clem, I would love you to share more of who you are as a person. And if there's any life lessons that you want to share with me.
Well, I mean, okay, in the .com, I made 80 million. And then by 2002, I had negative net worth. Yeah. There was that moment of that smell of baked bread and oxygen that you get in a casino when everything was going well to make all that money in the .com. And then when it was all gone, it was all gone. I mean, up like a rocket, down like a rock. And my company that I started went up, share price went up like a rocket. It went from 15p to £15 and then came back down to 15p. But it's more about grinding than anything. Now, every dog has his day for sure. But if you grind, you'll have several. Yeah. And, if you build up your skills, it's really what it's all about. If you build up your skill set, you will do very well. And I say something to annoy people, and it used to annoy them more than it does now, because in the old days, people watch television. And I used to say, I don't have a television. I haven't had a television, and I haven't had a TV since 1992. Okay. If you want to change your life, get rid of your television. I mean, then I used to say, if you do that, you'll have to get divorced from your wife as well. But, get rid of your television. That will change your life. Yeah. Now, and people go, no. Let's look at it practically. If you watch television 3 hours a day, which people generally used to do, used to get back at 7 at night and watch it to 11, whatever, 3 or 4 hours, 2 or 3, it doesn't matter, 2 or 3 hours a day. If you studied for a degree for 3 hours every night for 10 years, how many degrees would you have? You'd have about 3 degrees, wouldn't you? You'd have more degrees than Diana Ross. And you did that for 30 years? How many PhDs would you have? Yeah. How much skill would you have if you studied a university course 3 hours a night from the age of 25 to the age of 50? And then how could you possibly not do really, really, really well? And all you have to do is not switch the television on and watch people get shot in the head all night. If that's what's on television, isn't it? I haven't had TV for 30 years, but as I see, every time I look at TV, people getting shot in the head or the equivalent, or at least murdered relatively regularly. So you could watch people getting murdered on television, or you could become the most highly diplomated person in your country, probably, because no one else is doing it. And then how could you not do well? How could you not build up your resources, your assets? How would that not be a thing? Instead, people watch TV for 4 hours every night and wonder why they're poor.
What is a rich mindset to you?
I mean, it depends on what you mean by rich, right? I mean, a poor, healthy person is more rich than a rich, very sick person. But, with all things being equal, I mean, I don't know. I just like the games that I play, and I like to play the games that pay money. So I end up with quite a lot of it. But I feel that making stuff is really the thing that gives me satisfaction, but it doesn't give other people satisfaction. It's just I write books and paint paintings and make albums and build companies, and that all develops one skill set. I mean, if you want to play the guitar, if you play it an hour a night, you'll be able to play the guitar within a couple of years. If you want to write a book, you sit on a chair with your fingers on the keyboard. In 2 or 3 years, you'll write a book. It won't be a good one. It could be. It doesn't matter. You've written one. That makes you a writer. If you sit with the right musical tools, or in fact these days you just go and click a button and you'll get a song. AI will write it for you, but you could write a song. You could record an album if you wanted to. So it's the only thing missing is the desire to do so. And I'm driven. I like to do things, and I like to do things that have money attached, because that's the score, isn't it? And I've done things incredibly unsuccessfully. I mean, I've got 13 albums on music and on Spotify, 13, 14, maybe 12, I don't know, a lot. And I've made it in 15 years. I've made a grand total of $12,000. I'm the world's least successful pop star. And, I've built some businesses that have done very, very well. I did stuff in the computer game industry that now is legendary by some strange twist of fate. But it's because I've done a lot of stuff, and I keep doing a lot of stuff, and I will keep doing a lot of stuff. And when I pop my clogs, they'll look back at that stuff, and the AI will grab it and say, this person was important. He's dead. I'll be like Van Gogh, sell 3 paintings when I'm alive, and then become the greatest artist of all time after I'm dead, because they keep writing about me. Sorry, I mean, it's a strange question, but I like to keep score. I like a score to be kept, a tally of what I make. But for me, that's the freedom, and keeping a tally is what I think of money. And wealth is freedom, right? So You don't have to have a lot of money to be wealthy. If you can build a world that doesn't need it, well, that's very difficult, very, very difficult these days. And governments kind of go out of their way to make sure that you can't live on a song. I mean, you don't even own your house anymore, really, because the moment you stop paying the government, they take it off you. I mean, rents or whatever, property tax. I mean, do you own your property if when you stop paying somebody some money, they take it off you? So they've made it hard. They've made it very, very hard.
One final question I would love to ask you is, in 2026, what are 3 emojis that you would love to show up in the world?
I'm old. I don't do emojis. I do emojis. I suppose I've got a new one I've got, which is everyone wants to call me a boomer because I was born in the last year of the boomers, 1963. So I'm using the old man emoji. And I use the whale emoji, because that means it's mighty. And I use the Tyrannosaurus Rex emoji when something is great and mighty, but in a sort of kind of way, exciting, sort of aggressive sort of way. Blue whale is kind of like, hey, like, wow, man, it's the hippie. It's great and huge in a kind of laid back, chilled way, man, And the T-Rex is more sort of like, awesome. So they're my 3 emojis. Awesome on the front foot, awesome on the back foot. So it's cricketing terms. You might understand it. You're Canadian. And old man, because everyone wants me to be an old man.
I love that, Clem. Well, I appreciate you being here today because I'm really concerned about financial education and just spreading wisdom to more people in the world, not only in Canada, not only to my communities within Montreal, but across the world. And so I really appreciate you. I see you really doing your best to educate and to give principles that you've already shared on today's episode. So I just want to take this last little time to really thank you for being here and thank you for doing everything that you do.
Well, it's great for you to have me on there. And I will say, I will do a little bit of the old hypesterism here. I've got a nice Substack, Clem is here, which, I put a lot of stuff out on, and my YouTube channel, free to air, and my finance data platform, which is also free to air, completely free. They're all out there, and my very heavy footprints are all over them. So anybody that enjoyed me ranting on like this should check them out and see what else I've got to say.
Thanks so much, Clem. And I'll make sure to drop that in the notes.
Great stuff. Very good to meet you, Ben. And when you want me back on your channel to talk about why gold's gone up through the roof or down through the floor, just give me a shout.